We're proud of the progress we've made. Obviously, we've got more to do. We're going to be doing a special session next week to deal with problems with homeowners insurance. I think we'll be able to get a good product there, because it's been a problem for a long time, and so we'll do that. We'll also continue doing what we're doing to expand opportunities for career education and the skilled trades. You see the truck driving. We've expanded slots for driving school, commercial driver's license dramatically over the last 2 years. We've added 50 apprenticeships for various types of trades, and that really is helping us expand manufacturing in the state of Florida. We've made targeted infrastructure investments as well. We've also been leading on other issues as they come down the pike. So we were very outspoken about the creation of this Disinformation Bureau in the Department of Homeland Security. And, so they do this, which in and of itself is a total farce, but then they put this person in there who is just totally off her rocker, has been peddling misinformation for years, and they're going to basically have that office be the arbiter of what's true and what's not. And it was pretty obvious their attempt to do that was to simply say whatever they say is true and whatever we say is not. And they didn't want people to be able to dissent, and they wanted to be able to silence or marginalize people that were speaking out against their policies, and that is not an appropriate use of the federal government. I didn't think that they were necessarily going to enforce directly on Americans if you were speaking, but I think what they were planning to do was give to the social media companies whatever they considered to be disinformation or misinformation, and then have the social media companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter until Elon Musk gets it, if he gets it, that they would then put a warning label on, take the post down, suspend you, whatever they would do. And so it was an attempt to try to control debate, and it was an attempt to try to stifle dissent. And they got a lot of blowback on it, and so now they've had to step back from that. Now, I think strategically, they probably haven't thrown in the towel completely. I think they realized that they did not do a good job choosing the head of this, and that opened himself to some obvious criticism. So, but I don't think that we've seen the end of it. I think you have an impulse in the Biden administration, and quite frankly in these legacy media outlets in like Washington and New York. They believe that what they say is what should be shoved down the throat of the public, and that the rest of us should just take it and not point out that they're lying. And so we're going to make sure people in Florida can speak out. We did last year the first bill to signed into law, the first bill to protect Floridians from big tech censorship. They sued on it, and we knew. They immediately sued. The district judge did an injunction. We appealed it. We had a hearing in the 11th Circuit a few weeks ago. It went very well. So we don't know what will end up happening on that opinion, but I feel confident that core parts of that are going to be upheld. And for me, my view is that if they lure you into their platforms because they say, hey, it's an open platform, they take your data and make a lot of money off it, and then the minute you say something they don't like, they silence you, that's a consumer fraud. And so we want to give the people of Florida the ability to sue big tech if that happens to them. I think that would be a useful check against their power. But this Disinformation Bureau was a total disaster. The fact that they would even propose this really should raise questions about who is running this administration and what their designs are. So we're glad that partially through our pressure, and I think a lot of outrage across the country, that they've had to retreat on that. But I don't think this battle is over, and I think the battle for free speech is going to continue. We also are helping lead the way to protect Floridians from the effects of Biden's open border policies. And we just signed a bill yesterday that is going to make sure that people that are dealing fentanyl and the analogs are going to go to prison for a long time because it's killing people. And if you look at what's happened since January of 2021, over 2 million people illegally coming across the southern border. You've had huge amounts of sex trafficking and human trafficking, and you've never had more fentanyl coming across the border than you've had. And 90% of all the fentanyl in our country comes from the southern border. China's making most of it, but it all ends up being brought in through that southern border. And so Biden's policy is basically to let it rip and to let them bring in all this fentanyl. And so the result of that in 2021, the #1 cause of death for people 18 to 45 was fentanyl overdose. So this is having a devastating impact on a lot of individuals and families throughout our country, and including here in the state of Florida. And so what we did is kind of one step. You know, we've got a bill that we're going to be signing that's going to penalize any of these contractors that are dumping any illegal aliens into the state of Florida from the southern border. And then we do have money for relocation to Delaware and other states. So we're going to... But I mean, at the end of the day, it's an issue that has been so. This is why it's so frustrating. The gas prices wouldn't be where they were if they had not done what they did to try to really disfavor energy production. Inflation wouldn't be where it was if they had not printed trillions and trillions of dollars. The border, we would not have the problems at the border if they just would have kept Trump's policies at the border. But they revoked those policies, which had been, you know, and there still needs to be wall and all that. I mean, there's not, you know, there's part of it built, but not enough. So there was more that needed to be done. But even if they just would have just kept the current policies, you would not have had it. And then if they revoke this Title 42, you know, of all the things, that has actually led to a lot of people being turned back to Mexico. You take that off, you know, that's going to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people very quickly, and I got to think that that's going to help the cartels be able to move more product into the United States. You know, I said the other day, the cartels should make Biden an honorary member because nobody has done more to help them than Biden and his policies. And so these are really significant. I mean, first of all, a country that can't even control its own borders is a joke. And it's just a basic attribute of sovereignty that you're able to determine who's coming and who's not. And that's whether there was a lot of drugs or no drugs. It's just a principle that we control who comes in and who doesn't, and they're not following the law, and he's not satisfying his oath of office to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. So, you know, that's a really, really significant thing. But then all the negative impacts that we're seeing, and, you know, you see it everywhere. We see it in Florida. People act like, oh, you're not a border state. A lot of the people coming across are trying to get to Florida. And a lot of the people coming across are from all over the world. I mean, you got people from the Middle East, you got people from the Caribbean, you got people from all over. And this is kind of the ticket to come in illegally. So it's a big problem. You know, we're going to continue we're going to have some more announcements with respect to illegal immigration probably within the next couple of weeks. We look forward to being able to do that. But in the meantime, part of the reason we're able to get a little money in next year's budget, which I'll probably, you know, have done sometime in June, we'll get access to that. You know, that's part of the reason we're able to do that, because we've managed it well. The economy in Florida is a place people have confidence in terms of investing. There's a lot of jobs available for people. So we're fighting against all the D.C. headwinds, but I think we're doing a better job than just about any state out there. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks.